Hey, I'm Steve and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at MelloSaw, this new library that I've created for Piano Book, a community of samplists, and we'll be sharing very soon. I'm particularly happy with this one and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what you guys create with it and whether you like it. I would love to hear if you do or not. Let's get stuck in. So what is MelloSaw? MelloSaw is essentially an analog synth sampled from my Arturia Polybrute, a couple of patches that I created myself. And then those two patches have then been put through some tape effects, mainly the new free plugin from Arturia, the MelloSaw, as well as some Waves, J37 and vinyl sounds from their Abbey Road collections. All of these come together to create a new kind of tape warpy effect. Basically, you can blend them as a custom mix, or you can use some MIDI CC controls that I've programmed in to use them as performance controls on the fly and transition between different sounds, which is really cool. It's then been chocked full of effects, so I'm hoping that these effects then provide a little bit of a feel of what an analog synthesizer might. There's saturation on there, there's chorus on there, there's high pass, low pass, delay, a tape delay, and some reverb as well that I've sampled from Raum Native Instruments' amazing beautiful reverb that they've got. It's a favorite of mine, I use it a lot in production. All these additional effects provide a lot of flexibility. So with this one, you can really lean into the tape sounds. When I sampled the analog sound from the Arturia Polybrute synth, I left in all the little imperfections and I sampled quite long, sort of 30-second samples to capture this sort of never quite the same repeated note. So the longer you hold that sustain down, the more it's going to change just subtly over time. The tape effect then boosts that and enhances that kind of warping factor. It really creates something that's very, in my mind, unique to my experience. Some of the best synth-based cinematic scores were introduced to me on very old home cassette recordings, home VHS recordings. So that's sort of what I was trying to capture, that nostalgia feel of me watching those movies for the first time with all the little warps and bends and dropouts that happen along the way. So you take this warping sort of tape sound and then you throw in a little bit of saturation, chorus, the delays and reverbs, and you start to get this wash of tone. And it's something that's really kind of interesting to play around with and keep exploring. You don't have to just set a tone and forget about it. You can control and make changes over time while playing the instrument. You can map anything to MIDI CC, and I encourage you to do so, see what you can come up with. I did a little bit of a demo track and it uses some of this, and I'll be sharing that soon. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that one. The high pass and low pass filters as well, you can use those to scoop the tone a little bit more, and that creates an even more of a kind of home cassette tape type recording. It really kind of creates that tape warpy sort of sound that you're after. I think that sort of tape sound has got a little bit of a special place in my heart, as I think it has in many people. It's just got that nostalgic type feel. So inevitably we're always going to end up trying to put something through tape. So what makes this one so flexible is the fact that it has some texture controls and an effects section, and the combinations you can get between the two really change the sound. You have 4 basic sample groups that you're working with, but you can blend between any of those. And while they're quite subtle changes between the 4 of them, you can then use the effects to manipulate and warp it even further. You can use the texture control to then blend between those different sample groups. You can use the ADSR envelope to shape the envelope of your tone, and then throw it down some effects to really warp it up some more. The distortion is wild. If you crank that, it becomes this heavy drone. And there's also pitch in there as well, up to 7 semitones. So you can pitch up and then bend down, bend up into notes, really create some interesting drones and drops. So I'll be sharing this library to Piano Book in the next few days, and hopefully soon it'll be ready for you to download. There will be a link in the description once it's live, so do check back when that happens. As I said, I created a demo track that you'll be able to hear, and I'll be walking you through how I made some of those textures, so check out that. And just like all the other libraries that I've been creating, I'm also going to be deconstructing them a little bit in some future videos, so make sure you hit that subscribe to have a listen to those. That's all for now. I hope you have fun with it. I'll catch you next time.